Don't you worry, the clip's about to begin, but don't forget to subscribe. Or else, don't make me turn this website around.
Christian in Washington, thanks so much for waiting. You're on the show. How can I help?
Hi, Matt. First, I want to say I'm a huge fan. Thank you. And I also want to say thank you because you kind of helped, you and the rest of the crew at the Atheist Experience helped kind of guide me out of religion. So I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. And I will, it's much appreciated by, I can tell you, by all the people involved with the show every time we hear, that it's benefited somebody. So thanks.
Yeah, it really did benefit me, which kind of brings, my wife and I are both atheists, and she's a nurse. So every once in a while, she'll come across like I'll pray for you, or we were trying to think of other examples when I was like, I should call and find out what Matt thinks about that. And the only one we could come up with was bless you when you sneeze. And it's kind of like, well, that's a lame example, but more how religion has taken over certain facets of life,
Well,
and
yeah,
what you should try to do about that.
It's interesting because, so take the bless you thing, and I'm gonna borrow something from an acquaintance of mine. Penn Jillette evidently taught his kids to say that's funny instead of bless you, because it's true. Sneezes are funny. It's a strange thing, and we should laugh at it. And then now you're not saying bless you. I don't mind if somebody says bless you, because I don't think, even though it's short for God bless you, I don't think everybody who says bless you when I sneeze is thinking, oh my, demons may have entered Matt's body. I'd better say something right now. I think it is habit. I think it is reflexive.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of why when we were talking, when we were spitballing ideas, that's one of the lamer excuses or lamer examples. So we were like, well, but the I'll pray for you thing when someone's sick or something like that. I mean,
that one's a little hard.
I do volunteer with RFR, so I know there's not really much we can do to be like, hey, you can't say that. But
well, first of all, thank you for volunteering with RFR. That's outstanding. For something like I'll pray for you, there are really difficult things that happen where I feel helpless and I don't know what to say. Somebody calls me and says, like my friend Dave Warnock, if David called me, if we'd known each other before his diagnosis, and he'd called me and said, hey, I'm terminally ill, I don't know what I would have said other than, I'm sorry to hear about that, Dave. Is there something I can do? How can I help? I find it's one of the reasons why quite often when I take calls on the show, I will say, how can I help? And it puts me in a mindset of maybe there's something I can do for this other person. And it lets them know that that's what I'm actually trying to do. Yes, I get into arguments all the time and they're contentious and, I'll, Kyle, you're done here and all that, but I'm legitimately trying to explain what I mean and think and help people. Now, I'll pray for you is something that people say out of a sense of futility, I think more often in that I don't know, there's nothing I can do for you. I can't give you medicine. I can't give you money. I can't, I don't have a cure for cancer. I don't have any of this stuff. I don't view it. The Supreme Court has come up with this bullshit notion about ceremonial deism, that in God we trust, on the money doesn't matter, because it's not really advocating for a particular God.
Yeah, I remember seeing that decision and was,
yeah. I think it's a little dishonest, but it's also true in the sense that it's kind of vague. But I'll pray for you is even more vague, because in the entire history of people saying, I'll pray for you, has anybody ever said, who are you going to pray to? Because I don't want any, I don't want a Baptist praying for me. I don't want a Jew praying for me. I don't want a Muslim praying for me. I bet that has almost never, ever happened. The listener assumes that they're praying to whatever God that the listener is advocating for, or that it's just a saying. And so I'm not going to get all bent out of shape about it, but I would like to see the secular community maybe come up with some statements that we could use. like, you know, how can I help?
And I guess that's probably most of why I called, was just trying to see if, you know, you had any idea, any phrases or things you like to say that would kind of counter that.
Yeah. I like that one. I don't say anything when somebody sneezes. I think that's probably the better solution for me. Yeah, I don't know outside of that. There's a lot of things to get worked up about. And if somebody says, I'll pray for you or bless you, for me, that's just not one of them yet. This was part of a conversation I had with Neil deGrasse Tyson the very first time we met, where he was essentially poking me in the shoulder and lecturing me. I've told the story before, so I'm not going to do it today, but, you know, he said Godspeed as a send-off to astronauts, and some shithead atheist decided to give him a bunch of grief about it. Well, Neil's an atheist. He's even used the label once or twice. And he was just saying what everybody says. And Godspeed, while it still says God in there clearly, is not anymore a prayer or an affirmation of a particular religious view than like saying, you know, good morning is, or good luck, or, you know, all those things. They've morphed a bit, like Thor has turned into Thursday instead of Thorsday. But Neil got a little irritated that these shitty atheists were trying to give him a hard time for just wishing well, and doing it in a way that bothered them. And so he's like, I'm not going to identify as an atheist, you know, while that's the case. I can see that. And I think that we can start changing some of our language, but also I think we can remind people that there are real things to get concerned about. There are attempts to legislate people's beliefs onto others. There is favoritism taking place and privileged status for religions and religious organizations. Those are bigger. Sure. We got bigger fish to fry than, you know, bless you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, you answered my question, and you gave me plenty of time, so I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah. Thanks, Christian. Appreciate it. You want to hang up on me, or do you want me to hang up on you?
Sure. Why not? I'll hang up on you, because I'm sure I'll call the Atheist Experience at some point and say something dumb, and then you'll hang up on me. So we'll start the cycle now.
You know how to avoid that? Don't call the Atheist Experience. Anyway, thanks so much for the call.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip for The Line. While you're here, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and then share this with that bitter uncle of yours who loves talking about the good old days.